All right, now we've got audio. Okay.
All
So
right.
yeah, I'm gonna try that again, but
Okay.
yeah. So for some reason, something has happened to my OBS, and things have reverted to a state that it was in months and months ago. Um,
Okay.
and so like things are not quite working, y'all. So I think we've got it now. Just a quick, let me bring our guest on, Samuel. Hello, let me see an audio check from you.
Hello.
Hello. I'm gonna turn
Can
you
you
up.
hear me?
Yeah, I can. I'm gonna turn you up a little bit so you're a little bit closer to my audio. I think we're good.
Okay.
Um, sorry about that, folks. Yeah. Just came into it, and for some reason, OBS is acting like it's months and months old. We've already done 2 shows in this setup with everything working. Well, we had some issues at the beginning. Remember, we had some echoing. We fixed that. We had one episode with Jennifer Marie that turned out perfect. Everything was great. Fire up OBS. It's been a couple months or it's been a month or so since we've had a show, and everything is different for some reason. So weird little gremlins going on. But thankfully, you didn't hear any of my swearing, so we can take this from the top and start again. Although I do want to figure out why the countdown is not loud enough. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Transgender Show. I'm your host, Emily. I am very excited to be with you tonight, despite significant tech gremlins. Raina, I'm going to need you to tell me in the chat if Sam echoes, because with the fact that this has reverted significantly, I'm afraid that the issue that caused that might have reoccurred. But we'll see. Y'all bear with us today as we try and put together a show. We thought things were ironed out. And, yeah, when you're doing a live show with lots of technology, you never know how it's going to go. I'm excited tonight to welcome to the show my guest, Samuel Otten. Sorry. Oh, it's just, we should go back to bed. Uh, take 2. And I didn't tell you, I'm going to go through your intro. And then once I'm done, when I say welcome to the show, Sam, that's when it'll be. Okay, here we go. Take 2. I'm excited to welcome to the show tonight, Samuel Otten. Samuel is a queer transgender man from Southern California. He has worked in clinical research for 25 years and currently works at a major pharmaceutical company locally. He is active in the local LGBTQ+ community, including the company Pride Employee Resource Group. He is passionate about speaking up for those that cannot and providing safe spaces for the LGBT community. Everybody, welcome to the show, Samuel.
Hello. Thank you, Emily, for having me.
I
I'm excited to be
am
here.
very excited to have you. It's great to have met you recently at one of the events there on your campus, and to be able to represent the transverse there amongst your lovely employees and coworkers. So that was super fun. And I always jump at the chance to interview cool people that are doing stuff locally in the community, especially when I get the chance to talk to a trans man, because trans women are just out of the woodwork. Like, we're very visible, we're very public. I don't remember if you were in the conversation. We were speculating about sort of why that is, but it's definitely a thing where
Mhm.
trans women are just sort of in and of themselves until they get to a certain point of passing, just sort of easily spottable. And so we're just sort of always out and in the public eye. And I think trans men just love to be able to, after 6 months of tea, just sort of, do this Homer Simpson thing, disappear into the bush and just blend in with everybody else.
It's true. I'm probably the opposite of that. I wish I could say more that I'm a trans man because I don't think we're represented enough or loud enough, and to help support like our trans sisters. So I try to tell as many people as I can without like announcing it in weird spots. Like I still haven't told my new boss that I'm trans because like it just hasn't like come up. Like I announced it to my old boss when the election happened. Like I might have to move out of the country, but now I got a new boss since then, and I haven't told her yet. But I'm just trying to find the right moment. But yeah,
Ah, such fun and interesting times we're in now.
totally.
Let's go ahead and dive in. The way that I like to start the show is with a nice, easy warm up question and a fun one that everybody likes to, most people have a great story about. How did you choose a name that suited you and that felt like you?
Okay, so this is very interesting. So when I was growing up, I always from when I can remember, I always had the name Sam with me for some reason. I think you might remember Cabbage Patch Kids back in like the early '80s or mid '80s. I forget when it was. And my Cabbage Patch Kid had a dog, and I automatically named it Sam. And like anything I got, I would try to name Sam, not really knowing that that's the name I wanted at the time because I was young and didn't understand that. But that name always has stuck with me. So that's just always been my name. And Samuel, I like better. But yeah, um, I always just knew it, I guess. And then my middle name, I'll tell this story really quick. I wanted it. I really like the name Jack as well, so I really was thinking about having the middle name Jack. But Samuel Jack goes right to Samuel Jackson, and that's not something I wanted. So I was like, what do I do? And my brother passed away in 2003. So to honor him, I took his middle name, which was Brian. So I chose Brian as a middle name to honor my brother.
Wow, that's very touching. I'm sorry for your loss, but that it's amazing that you had that opportunity to honor him in that way and carry him with you with your new identity, and I think that's very beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. It was better than Jack, definitely.
Yeah, like you said, it just works better. So, when were you first aware that there was something that was a little off about your gender?
Mm. So I don't like. This is where it gets weird. Because I didn't know transgender was a thing really until I don't even know, like later in life. Like I knew it was a thing, but I thought only like there was only like male to female because there were no trans men, so I like that wasn't even an option. So I knew I was different, like in probably in grade school, like since the beginning of time. Like I knew I didn't fit in, and I knew I was like I like to hang out with boys better, and I like to play sports, and I like that. Not that girls don't play sports; girls are very good at sports because I did that as a girl. But but like I played sports with all the young boys in the neighborhood, and I like to hang out with them. And I had like girlfriends, but I didn't like to like wear makeup or wear dresses or do my hair or like any like they were all. So people were like, "Oh, you're a tomboy," and I was like, "I think it's not that, but that's fine. I'll go with that." But yeah, I just didn't want long hair. I didn't want any of it. So from a very young age, I realized that I was different, and so at the time, that really just went led me to butch lesbian, because that's the only thing I knew of. But I didn't feel like I fit in with lesbians either, because I was like, this is not who I am. Like, I don't fit in with these people either. But then it took me um, until 2017 to come out as trans. So a long time. Like I forget how old I was, like 41, I guess, when I finally came out as trans. But yeah, it was a long road of not really understanding the gender continuum myself.
Hmm. Well, yeah, that's so much of a common experience for us. We don't have the language, we don't have access to any of that. It's just not there. So, yeah,
Right.
the first thing is learning that it's a thing, learning that it's a possibility, and then somehow getting to the point of applying that to your life and your circumstance. That was the last piece of the puzzle for me that was really eluded me, was the fact that it was something that applied to me that I could do that made sense for me.
Correct. Same. I was like, oh, this is something I can do. Like I didn't understand like that was a possibility. Like it didn't even like register
Hmm.
until like I was actually in a therapy session with in a women's therapy session, and there was a trans woman in that session, and she started talking about her transness, and I just started, and if anybody knows me, I do not cry, and now that I'm on testosterone, I don't cry even more, like never ever cry. And uh this this trans woman started telling her story in the therapy session, and I just started crying, like in the corner, no, so nobody could see me. So nobody caught me, thank God. Um, and then I came home that night and came out to my wife as transgender, because I couldn't go on anymore without like telling somebody and doing it. Like there was really a point where I was like, either like just gonna kill myself or come out as trans. Like those were the choices I was at, to be honest.
it's it's weird how funny that is to another trans person, of just like, well, yeah, yeah, it just makes so much sense to us because, yeah, like, everything felt so wrong for so long and we just didn't understand why, and then you start
Mhm.
to put it together and you understand why, and then like you can't stand to pretend anymore.
Correct. Like it was like that, and I was like, I have to go tell everybody. Like within a week, I had told my parents, my wife's parents, and then I told like Facebook a week later. Like I just came out like a crazy person,
Hmm.
like everywhere. I was like, everybody needs to know.
Well, and I get
Like I
why
went from
it's.
not even giving a hint. I mean, by not giving a hint to it, I had like a shaved head and everything. So probably again, like when I came out as a lesbian, people were like, we knew. So when I came out as trans, I don't think anyone was like, nobody was really like, oh my god, really? They were like, oh okay, that makes sense.
Mhm.
Nobody's ever been shocked with any of my coming outs.
So, what was more difficult for you at that early point, when you started to come out to people, or that point before then of coming to terms with it and accepting it within yourself?
That coming to terms with it was hard. I mean, that was my whole life of just being um like I have major depressive disorder. So like my depression and anxiety didn't go away because I came out as trans, but it has deeply lessened. Like I do not have to um like I used to be on medication and still just be super depressed and anxious and um like just not want to get out of bed and not want to do anything and like drag myself to work every day. And ever since I came out, I've become like more outgoing, more comfortable with myself, more, if you can imagine, more talkative, which is unimaginable to some people. But more just personal and more myself than I've ever been since then. So definitely the struggle from like middle school till 41 was the worse than the coming out. The coming out was like, deal with it. Like I had contemplated it so long for so many years that I was like, I'm going to be who I am and I don't care who leaves, or like I don't care, like this is who I'm going to be, and I'll be alone if that's what I'm going to do. But it just had to happen.
Wow. So you already made peace with that and didn't have any struggles with who was.
Correct.
Wow.
I overthink everything, probably, that which took me, that's why it took me so long. But I overthink it. But yeah, I had to, because I had just married my wife Amanda that you met. We had just gotten married the year before, not even, it wasn't even a year yet that we had been married, and then I had to come out to her as a trans man. And I was like, I had to come to terms with, before I told her, like she could leave me. Like I didn't think she would, but you have to come to terms with, like, people, like you have to pretty much think to yourself before you do it, whoever I'm going to tell, you're going to lose people. People are going to not support you. And it could be the people closest to you that you think will support you who don't. And you have to come to terms with that to come out. Like I did. I don't know if everybody does, but I'm just like I had to say, like, is it going to be worse if my wife leaves me, or is it going to be worse if I come out as, or like if I stay not coming out? And the choice was I have to come out as trans. And if my wife leaves me, it's sad, but oh well. Like I can't keep it in anymore.
Mm.
So I did think it through. Like it seemed sudden, but like to people, but I had been going through it for a while. Probably openly on Facebook at the end of, if you see my 2016 Facebook, it was not a great scene for people.
Oh, that's wait, there we go. Weird. There's one thing that's not quite working. That
Okay.
is I think it's gonna be harder to edit out intermixed, so I'm gonna take and cut out this section where I'm talking about it and fixing this, but I'm
Okay.
gonna take a second to fix one other thing that is going on, so just bear with me.
Okay.
um, like I said, folks, there's all of the problems today, all of them, all of them, all of them, all of them. One of
I do.
which is a fun one. The
Yes.
way OBS works. Oh, that did not work.
Oh.
Why is that doing that? So when I switch from this scene to this scene,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't automatically crop. It crops a split second later. Oh, it sucks
Oh.
to spend a lot of time getting something like this really dialed in and working for years and years, and then all of a sudden it just doesn't, and you're like, but it doesn't make any sense. All right, anyways, back to the show. Were there, you mentioned in your coming out process that you were determined and you were accepting that whoever was there for you was going to be there for you, and who wasn't. Did you have any kind of struggles at that point with anybody? Was there anybody that you kind of held out hope that would support you that turned away?
Yes. Well, I got so I've always had a rocky relationship with my mom. Like since the beginning of time, I feel like, and it's just been complicated um since the beginning of time. So originally when I called and told my parents, my dad he just passed away this year. He was a very quiet man, so he never said anything. He just like would listen on the phone and just be quiet, and not say a word. And then usually, like, we never really had phone conversations. It was always my mom on the phone and my dad in the background saying nothing. So I told my mom, and she was like, "Oh, okay, that's so great. Finally being yourself." Blah 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 blah. Um, which was great. So I was like, "Oh, that went better than I thought." Like I didn't think it would go that well. And then like we talked about coming there in July. Like I came out in April, and then Amanda and I were going to go visit them the week of 4th of July. And then my mom kept saying like, "No, no, I don't think that's a good idea. No, I don't think you should come out right now." And like she wouldn't explain why, because that's how she is. And I was like, "Why not?" And she wouldn't say why. And I was like, I said, "We have to make plans because we were off that week. So like, are we coming there or not?" And she goes, "No, don't come here. And you know what? Your father and I need a little space, so please don't call us again. And then like we'll call you." And then they never called me. Um, and that was in June, at the beginning of June. Um, and they kind of just said like, we're not used to, we can't get used to you identifying like this. Don't call us. So I didn't call them, and they didn't call me. And I ended up like, it was making me, I don't know why, it just bothers me when they're not talking to me, even though like it's such a hard relationship when they are talking to me. Um, so I drove from Wisconsin to New Jersey for like a Halloween party in the office of where I was working at the time. And then on my way back out, I decided to just stop by their house. It was the end of October. They hadn't sent me a birthday card. They hadn't called on my birthday. They just like, so then that was like a test. I was like, okay, they're really not talking to me, because they're just like not even acknowledging that I exist. And I talked to some family members and I was like, does my mom even bring me up on the phone? And they're like, no, it's like, you don't exist anymore. So I just stopped by their house. in October of what year is it? 2017. And like I walked in and I figured because this is how they are. Um, I would walk in and nothing would be said and no apologies would be made and they would just act like nothing had happened and that's what they did. I walked in, my mom had like a thing on her wrist. She goes, "Oh, I just got home from surgery yesterday," which I had no idea she was having, obviously, because we weren't talking. And she goes, "Sit down. Would you like a cup of coffee?" Like, not even, "What are you doing in New Jersey? What are you?" She would just, they were just like, nothing happened.
Oh, the gaslighting.
Oh,
Just like,
that's my mom's middle name is Gaslight. Like,
wow.
that's what happens. So unfortunately, that's true. I mean, I still love her. I've been in therapy for years, and I just had therapy today again to go over some more gaslighting that's been happening. Um, but yeah, I just go to therapy and try to accept her the way she is, and then boundaries, and then try to just keep a relationship at least.
Mhm.
But it's hard.
Yeah, but I love that you were able to do that, that you were able to just go and show up. That's the thing that's funny about transphobic tendencies, right? Is
Mhm.
it's easy for people to do it like with that sort of anonymous kind of
Oh, from a
shield
distance,
up, but
correct.
when they're
That's why I
confronted with
showed
you, when
up.
they
I was like, "Now what are you gonna do?"
yeah, when they see you in person, like they're going to treat you like a person.
Yep.
And it's easy to then have those conversations. Have
Well,
you?
there was still no conversation, but we started talking again, like nothing had happened.
Okay, it's true.
That's the MO for my family. So like I was like, okay, we're back.
Uh-huh.
And all I had to do was show up. And they're like, "Oh, hi." And I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
So, did you have any experiences of the opposite? Somebody that you thought probably wouldn't accept you that has embraced your new identity and surprised you?
Um, I'm trying to think. Not really. I mean, the only people I can think of that really didn't, I'm gonna say Amanda's brother. Um, they had a like her brother really had a big issue because I'm going to tell a little bit of Amanda's story quickly. Amanda had an ex-husband, so she was married to a cisgender man before, and then she divorced him and brought me into her life, which was a woman at the time, and she had never told anybody she was bisexual in her family. So like, what's going on? Um, but like her parents were accepting of that relationship, and her brother was kind of, but then he was like, "Ooh, don't hold hands or anything in front of our children because we don't want them to, um, you know, think anything, blah blah blah." But then when I became a transgender man, the optics of that looked better for his family, for his kids, because then we looked like a straight couple. So then that was okay. I was like, "You're insane." So
Uh,
it's just like the things that happen in other people's minds that transgender people experience that no one else even thinks of. And you're just like, so you weren't okay. I'm the same exact person that I was. I have the same, like my voice is a little deeper. I have less hair, but I have the same personality. I'm the same exact person as I was. But now you like me better because I fit into your straight mold of, oh, now you're a man and she's a woman, so we're good now. It was unbelievable. I was like laughing. I was just like, "Are you kidding me?" It's funny. It's funny
yeah, and
stuff.
that's
All I can do is laugh at these. Like it's just amazing.
yeah, that's kind of what you got to do. It's just so bizarre. It's like
It
what
is.
is this world that you live in? Like,
It's
oh
true.
my
It
god.
boggles my mind. I'm like, you
Yeah.
think we live in like this weird world and we're bad people? I'm like, you're all insane. Like, but you live your narrative, and I'll just fit into it however you need me to, and that'll be great.
Let's jump to sort of our big ethereal question. What has gender transition, what has this journey meant for you on a deep level?
On a deep level, uh, like everything, honestly. Like when like I the day I came out, like I was already like changed. Like I already felt happier than I had probably ever in my life. I didn't even know it was like possible. And I still even like even how many years later is it? Like 8 years later, I'm still like, how am I this happy? Is this correct? like, is it okay that I'm feeling this happy? Should I be depressed? Because I was depressed for so long, like internally, even if I was showing that I wasn't depressed externally, I was just like broken inside for so long that to feel not that way is still the weird feeling to me. So it's like really changed me deeply, like to the core of who I am. Um, and yeah, I just don't know what I would do if I hadn't um, honestly met Amanda to feel comfortable enough to come out to. Because I'd mentioned to ex girlfriends, I'm gonna be honest, like, what happens if I was a guy and they were all like very knocked it down? So I was like, oops, staying a girl. So I know I had it like in my brain that like I knew like I was hoping that was a possibility, but they were all like no. So I was like, okay, I'll just stay here like this. But then since Amanda had already like been married to a man, I was like, this might be a good opportunity. She won't be against, like, she's not a full lesbian, so she will not be against being married to a man. But it's still different. Like, obviously, I was still a woman, but um, when I came out to her, like, she immediately was very kind, like immediately. Like she was like, okay, we'll figure this out. Like that's fine. Are you okay? You're crying. You don't cry. So she was like hugging me and she's like, it's okay. We'll figure it out. Like everything will be okay. And it was like probably the best reaction anybody could have given. Like she didn't make a huge deal of it and she just acted like I was just having a moment of crying and coming out as transgender. And I told her my name and she's like, okay. And she immediately started calling me by that name. Like it was so yeah, it was just amazing. So yeah, it's I wouldn't still be here if I didn't come out as trans. So
Hmm.
that's how deep of a feel meaning it is. Like,
Yeah, and like
yeah,
I
my
said,
whole
that's really common in our community, to have that sentiment. How much do you think of an influence on your transition and who you were sort of able to become? More the timeline than who, because I think you would have become yourself eventually anyways. But how much of an effect did Amanda's support have on what you on your the outcome of your journey?
huge because I still obviously had um, struggles. Like I still had to figure out. Like I mean, I had to. I didn't know a lot. Like some people think like you come out as trans and you've been like researching and stuff. I had not been doing that because it was like an epiphany to me. So I had no idea. Like I had to learn proper transgender language. I had to go on websites. I had to go see like what possibilities were there for me for like drugs or surgeries or all the things. Like I had no idea. I had not even like I just came out first and then like worried about everything later. I was like, God, now I'm part of this community. I have to like act right. And I'm supposed to know what I'm doing. I can't just be like I'm transgender and then just do whatever I want. Like I had to research what that meant, what not to say, how to support like everybody that was transgender. Because I didn't want to be, be like an embarrassment to the group, I guess. But then I also had to see like what will make what does like becoming a man mean to me? What and that means something different to everyone. So just for the audience, if you new to like trans stuff, to be transgender, you don't have to take drugs or have surgery or anything. If you just feel like you're you don't fit in your body or don't fit in your gender, and that you say like I'm non-binary or transgender, that you are. Like you don't have to do anything to validate that with drugs or surgery. Just to let you know. But I felt for me my journey that I needed to do that. So like I immediately looked into like getting testosterone, changing my name legally. And then like later on I looked into top surgery and who was the best surgeon. But that was not like an emergency for me. I waited a couple of years for that. Um, but yeah, and Amanda was supportive throughout the whole thing and helped look things up for me and helped. Um, she's all into doctors and stuff. She's always finding doctors for people who need help because she has connections with her work and she just knows people. And she's always trying to help everybody if you know her. So she was doing the same for me. Yeah, and she really helped me out a lot through my journey. And like I would still get depressed sometimes, and I'd be like, "Oh my god, this was supposed to fix that." She goes, "This doesn't fix." Like you have a diagnosis of like depression. Like I guess like some people have depression, and it's like a brief stint of depression where you have like depression and then it'll go away. Mine is like a lifetime diagnosis of like depression disorder.
Mhm.
The coming out as trans definitely lessened that a lot, and the medicines that I take now seems to keep it much more at bay than like when I was just like nothing could have made me not depressed from not being myself. Like no medicine in the world can fix that. Um, so yeah, so she was very supportive through the whole thing. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
I think that's such a good point to bring up, though, and kind of remind everybody, like, coming out as trans, having surgeries, being on medication. For some people, sometimes it is sort of that, like that big life changing moment where, like, you're no longer depressed, but
Correct.
it isn't a cure all. It doesn't solve all your problems. It solves
Correct.
the problems related to your gender and starts helping you work on that. But the thing you don't realize is you've spent your whole life with this belief, subconscious or conscious, that who you are is not good enough for the world. Like, you
Correct.
truly being yourself is not what the world accepts, right?
Mhm.
And so even when you start taking these steps to be yourself and accept yourself and all of that, it's a long road.
It is.
um there's still so much other deep-seated things in there that you've been living with and dealing with your whole life, and how you framed your reality. And so yeah, it's not like, the reason I bring this up is I don't want people who start HRT or who, get surgeries or whatever, to be disappointed that it suddenly didn't fix everything that was wrong in their life.
Correct. Yeah,
There,
you definitely need to, if you have that, if you're able to, like try to get therapy for it, or talk to friends or talk to other trans people that have gone through it. Um, that I found that helpful. Just talking, and that doesn't have to be like a trans man. It could be a trans woman. It can be a non-binary person. It could be anyone who's, or just like a friend that's, even if they're not trans, just to talk about them, because a lot of people have been through things and they thought like, oh, I thought when I left this person it was going to fix my life, but like there's underlying things that still need to be worked out somehow. So either like do therapy, but I know that healthcare in this country is, amazing. So if you don't have access to therapy, just find a friend, or come on here, come on my LinkedIn or Instagram or whatever, and you can talk to me. Yeah, but don't feel bad if you're still like depressed after you come out, like because you did the right thing by coming out. But is there still a little more work to do sometimes? And sometimes there's not. Sometimes you'll just be like, I'm amazing, and I'm not depressed because I'm 17 and I came out when I was 17, and amazing for the kids that get to come out today. A lot less baggage.
yeah,
Well, different
the
baggage, maybe.
the hilarious thing that hilarious is a weird word to use in this context when I say this, but an interesting thing about the trans experience is you can interview all of the trans people, all of them, and I truly don't believe that one of them will say that they transitioned early enough. I think everybody
Oh,
wishes they transitioned earlier.
agree. Agree.
Have your goals of what your transition would be shifted as you've moved along it? Were there things that you thought that you would or perhaps wouldn't want to do, when you started, that have changed as you've moved along?
Um, a little, I think. So like this is gonna get really personal. But I still don't think I can do it. But like right now for like trans men, most men just get like top surgery and that's it. And like they have for like the bottom area, there's a couple surgeries, but then you have to worry about like, is sex still going to be good if you get that? And it not necessarily. So like you have to weigh the pros and cons, and it's like, well, I don't want to get rid of that part of my life just to not be like have like body dysmorphia in that area anymore. So it's like it's so you still have like a little bit of like, oh, like I wish I could do that, but it's not worth it. But like that's been bothering me a little more lately. And I'm trying to think. Um, yeah, that's about it though. Yeah.
I finally got my the two young people that I consider my kids. I've taken to adopting people, and finally got them
It,
together. We had a wonderful conversation. One of them is a trans man who's 22, and we were just talking through the whole thing. And I've had this conversation with several trans mask folks. Both sides have as a particular bitch. Trans men take testosterone. Testosterone is a powerful, powerful hormones. I have seen many trans masculine folks go from feminine presentation to passing in under a year because
oh
it
wow.
because it is like the changes are so dramatic and so strong. For a trans woman, like HRT is a long, slow process. Estrogen does not work the same way. It is a
No.
long, slow process. It takes years. It takes a great deal of patience.
Uh,
But then when you talk about surgery, trans women with a fairly easy surgery, fairly routine these days, can get
mhm.
the full thing. You know,
Yep.
you're not able to bear children, but sexually pretty darn close. Trans men, the surgery is a bitch, and like you said, it guarantees nothing. It is such a crapshoot. It's such a wild card.
Correct. It's
I'm
like it's still not worth it to me for
Yeah,
that.
I've been so
Like I
happy
think
to
about it in my brain more often now, but I'm like, ah.
yeah. Well, I've been so happy to see some videos recently of trans men that have gone through the surgery and just, it's like finally having a body part that you always missed, that you always thought was supposed to be there, and it just like wasn't. And so like that cognitive dissonance, the physical dissonance, I can get how that fixes a lot and can feel really great. But then yeah, there's still the sexual aspect, and
Correct.
I,
Like I'm
I
not single. Like if I was single, maybe, but like Amanda would probably be like, no. No, I'm just kidding. She didn't care. She
but
always supports whatever I
you
want.
still need to figure out some kind of closeness and intimacy, and it that kind of stuff
Correct.
is it's a fun challenge for all of us trans folks, because once you figure out the gender stuff, then sexuality is just like, what are we doing now?
Correct. Correct. I just went right to queer. I was like, I'm just gonna be the T and Q over here. I'm just gonna
So how far along would you say you are in your process of self-actualization, of becoming the full Samuel?
probably 199%. Like I can't think of anything, but I don't want to say 100 because you never know. Like something new could come up and I'm like, what? But probably like 99%. Like I'm pretty comfortable with who I am now. Um, and I don't really feel deeply like I need anything else to consider myself to be male.
Hmm.
To be honest. Maybe more pay. I keep trying to get a raise because I heard men make more and nobody gives it to me. Like it's really rude.
Still waiting.
Immediately when I came out at work, I asked my boss immediately. I was like, "Excuse me, now that I'm a man, do I make more?" And they're like, "No." And I was like, "What the hell? This was promised to me, and now it's rude."
So rude.
Immediately said no. Disappointing.
Had the answer ready. Like as soon as you come out to them, they're like, okay, the question's coming soon.
Correct.
So I find that most of it, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, like I feel like we still have our moments of dysphoria. We still have our moments of sort of a disconnect, and feeling self-conscious. What do you do if you have those moments to find that validation? What are some of your rituals or tricks to validate yourself in your identity?
Um, I don't even know. Um, Sometimes I say it out loud. Like I've said stuff to friends or my wife. Um, I've said probably to past coworkers and definitely to my wife. Like stuff about not being a real man. I was like, well, a real man, blah blah blah, and they're like, you are a real man, and I was like, I can't like I certain days I can't wrap my head around that, but I'm like, but I'm really not like, and they're like, yes, you are. Like, get it through your head, like you're a real man. Like, so I need reminders of that. Probably more often than I like to admit. Um, but yeah, I just bring it up to people that are supportive of me, and they remind me where I fall in the universe, which is nice of them.
Is there anything that you feel you've been able to accomplish in your life because of the fact that you're trans?
Accomplished. I'm more. I still have to work on it because I was raised female, but I have more confidence than I used to have. My wife would say still not enough, but I have more confidence. So I've honestly, like, old me probably wouldn't have said yes to doing this. But now I'm like I feel like I'm more of an activist now, and I feel like I can be because honestly, I'm gonna say like now that I'm a white male, I under like as a white female lesbian, I was still like an other, but now I'm a white male, and I'm mostly passing to people who don't know I'm trans. Like if I say I'm trans to somebody, most of the time they're like, "What?" So I understand that I can have inappropriately, but the living in truths of America, I can have some more power as a white male, and I like to use that to lift underrepresented voices up, or bring them into spaces, or do certain things. And I don't think I would be doing that because I didn't have the confidence, or I was too depressed and I didn't want to go out in public, and I didn't want to like the ERG thing where I invited you guys to come to our company and be the ERG. Like that's not something that is the old me. Like I just used to kind of slide through life and like show up to things, but like not be like a leader in them. And I feel like now feel like more of a leader, and I need to be more of a leader. And so I'm embracing that, and I feel like I have a lot more to get done. Now, because I'm kind of just now that I've switched over from my old job to my new job, there's more opportunity here to do that, and there's more opportunity in California to do that. So yeah, um, I'm going to continue to try to advocate for others.
I love that. That's amazing. I mean, that's you know, I totally agree with that. Like finding yourself like sort of stumble into a leadership kind of position. You know, I very strongly identify and agree with that. That's
Oh
it's
yeah,
close to home.
you just get more confident when you're your real self.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, like for me, my journey started because we haven't talked much about mine, if anything.
No,
When I came out,
ask
I
interview
was,
you.
yeah, when I came out, I was like, I was struggling to think that I could be accepted. I just didn't, there wasn't a possibility in my brain. And then
Mm,
once I realized that the people accepted me and were supportive and that was a possibility, I was like, oh my God, I need like people need to know this. People like me need to know that this is possible. And so that sort of started the journey. I started figuring out how I could use my voice. I didn't want to. I was terrified. So I joined Toastmasters to learn how to speak in front of people and got over a lot of that fear and then started this show. And then people were just like, hey, we need to do more with this. And I'm like, okay. And then I find myself in a leadership role and a leadership role in the community. And I'm like, me though, like I was always terrified to be the center of attention in any way, shape, or form, even if it was a small group. Like, and
so
now,
funny.
and now I have people that look up to me. This feels like a bad idea, y'all.
Well, you do a great job.
Well, thank you.
Do you
Uh,
love it now?
what's that?
Do you love it now? Like the leadership role and being in the.
I have acquired skills in it, and I've really enjoyed hearing people say that because I have a really high level of empathy and lead by example, and I think I'm really fair. I think those things combine to make me a leader that people really appreciate, and
That's
that feels really good. Um,
that's
it's important to be able to inspire people, and I still feel like I kind of struggle with that sometimes, but if you can be out there and lead by example, I think that's a great motivational tool for a lot of people.
definitely. And I'm sure you inspire people. You just struggle recognizing it. And I'm good at saying that because I also don't do that. So
Yeah. What's sort of like I was saying in chat to a new guest here that has come in is, yeah, we really struggle to find our self-worth. That's a very
mm,
common thing. And like I was saying before, I've sort of put this together in with a lot of hindsight. I just grew up knowing from a very early age that I was not what people said I was and was supposed to be. And somehow I think I intuited or interpreted that either from my own doing or because it was true, I'm not sure, but that the way to survive, the way to be loved and supported was to play this role. Because again, the person that I was not good enough for this world. This was not, yeah. And so when you base your whole identity and your life off of that, it makes perfect sense that when you finally come out and start to be yourself, it's scary. It's scary waters to be in.
Yeah, definitely.
What is your favorite thing that you've learned about either yourself or the world around you since coming out?
Um, hmm. Uh, I guess, yeah, I don't know. The favorite, I'll say this. Um, One of the favorite things, um, now that I'm more passing, so having gone through the world um, as a female, um, it's a privilege, I think, to go through the world as a female and a male during some point in your life, because you see a lot of things from two different spaces. Um, and yeah, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm trying to think. Like, I guess, like when I was a lesbian, like men, like men were cool, but like a lot of them were kind of toxic, and
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hang out with a lot because I was in groups of lesbians, and like you don't usually hang out with a lot of men. So now that I'm, uh, passing and I hang out with more men, they're not all as, this is going to come out really bad because of the time right now. They're not as toxic as I thought. There's really good guys out there. Not a lot, probably, but they exist. So that is what I actually learned since coming out, is that there are still the toxic males, but there are good, honest, like kind men that know I'm trans and are still okay with it. And there's cisgender men, they're gay men, they're transgender men. All different people are accepting of me being a man and accepting me into, their gender, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, that's a
So it's
question.
their opinion that there are non-toxic males.
Yeah, that's a question that I've never thought to ask, and I love this. Do you have any kind of particular role model? Oh my God, no, that's not true. We used to ask it way back in the day. Um, do you have any particular role models of masculinity, of sort of like what it means to be a man that you kind of follow and try to, integrate some of those things into your life?
I'm gonna be honest. My dad was a very kind person. He was very kind. He was very giving. Um, he was quiet, which I'm not as much. But when he did speak it, like he was always funny. He always was telling jokes. Unfortunately, the same ones over and over. But I tried to. He volunteered doing different things. He was like in the Army Reserve. My brother had cerebral palsy growing up, so he always helped um, with things doing that. He always volunteered to like coach teams that I was on. So he's like always who I saw um, as a good role model of uh, somebody that I would want to be when I grew up. Somebody kind, helping. Um, the quiet didn't work out. Um, but yeah, just somebody kind and helpful and giving, and always there for somebody when needed. I guess is, yeah. So my dad, I would say.
Wonderful. And lastly, what advice do
Yes.
you have to pass on to young or closeted trans folks out there?
This is gonna be, people would say this to me, and I didn't always believe them, but do not give up. Like as dark as it might be right now for you, there's a community. Even if you can't see it, it's maybe easier to see now, like on the internet, as long as you can avoid the trolls and all the bad negative things out there. But there's always people that will accept you. You might not know it, especially if you don't tell them, and it's scary to tell people. Um, so hopefully you can find a little group of people that are accepting of you, even if you have to closet yourself other places. But just don't give up. And I won't say, because this is not true, it might not get fully easier all at once. Because people are like, oh, it'll be easier. It wasn't easier. It was just different and more comfortable. And as you keep growing and learning, it'll become more and more comfortable and less scary and less uh, hard, I guess, over time. And as you build your community, or maybe you'll get rid of some people in your community because they weren't who you thought they were. Um, but just surround yourself with supportive people, or supportive programs like this, or just like listen to things like this, and just know you're not alone, even if you're alone, and just try to make it. Um, to like just hold on, and it'll get better. My song that helped me, I'm gonna get real cheesy. I listened to "Hold On" by Wilson Phillips literally every day in the shower, in high school, just to stay alive for the next day. Every single day, I listened to that song, and that is probably one of the only things that kept me going. And it's a very cheesy song, but I love it, and it works for
I mean,
me.
it was a massive hit, so you know,
But thank
yeah, culturally, it's not that cheesy. It sort of fit in. It had its time.
God. Correct. I was like this. Yeah, you break away from the chains. It was all very. I love it. Love it.
Mm. Yeah, and then who was the really bad song that I've always really hated, but that the greatest love of all is learning to love yourself, basically.
Yeah, that was the song. I also had that on my mixtape for the shower. Swear to God. That and hold on, it was a very 80s. It was a very. I'm like, how does my mother not know what was going on? I'm listening to all these songs. Like, obviously, I was a mess.
Yeah, I love that you had a shower survival mixtape.
I had a big boombox, like this big with speakers on the side. Like, I got it for my 8th grade graduation, and I put it on the toilet, and I plug it in and play all my songs during my shower.
Always great when you're taking a bath or a shower to have electronics nearby. But I'm glad that you.
True.
I'm
It was
glad
the
that you.
80s. I also like dried my hair in the shower. It was amazing.
Ah, well, Samuel Otten, thank you so much. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you for coming on the show and sharing your story.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. This was amazing. And I learned things about myself because I don't, people don't ask me a lot of questions usually. So thank you for having me. This was, yeah, it was great. And I learned things about you. So I appreciate it.
Always good. All right. Well, that is our cut, our edit for the first part of the main episode of the show. We
Okay.
take a break and come back and just talk about whatever random stuff. So we've got more time. I did not get a chance to ask you before the show, so might as well do it now. How much time do you have?
I have all the time in the world.
Okay, we usually do we usually do like somewhere between 20 minutes to a full hour. We'll see how the conversation goes. We're going to take probably about a 5 to 10 minute break now, and we'll be right
Okay.
back with y'all as soon as as soon as we're back from that. What advice do you have to pass on to young or closeted trans people out there?
And this is probably cliche to death, but I have to say that you have to do what's right for you at a time that's right for you. No one else can make that decision for you, and no one else can push you into something that you're not ready for. You can't live your life to make everyone else happy all the time, because if you try and do that, you're going to fail. You're never going to make everyone happy.
I think getting a support network and at least telling a few close friends is huge. It's so huge, because those feelings of being alone and not being seen be really devastating. Having the support of a couple of really close friends or family members or whoever you trust is just absolutely huge.
Just find anybody to talk to that you can about this. If you feel like you're trans or you might be trans, or just find somebody you can confide in.
Having a group of friends, no matter how small, or somebody that can back you up and lift you up during it will mean the world. Because at first, everybody is scared. The more you go out, the more you build your confidence in yourself, the less it'll affect you. Everybody feels it and will continue to feel it. And it's just whether or not you let it overtake you and control you, or you let it go past.
Almost every relationship has grown deeper as a result of sharing this deeper part of myself. So I think there's something to finding your community to get to expand with and reinforce, but I think it then amplifies into almost every other relationship you can have.
I think that there's a struggle to transition the right way. Everyone's going to transition on a different timeline, in different order of operations, and as long as it happens how they want it to happen, that's a valid transition. And not transition is valid.
I do struggle with this. I should follow my own advice. Don't focus on like regretting things, like not ever, like not starting early enough or anything like that, because then you'll just go through a loop and just constantly think about it, and it's not something you can change.
I didn't take anything for granted. Every positive change, even most of the time, I swear it was just a placebo where I noticed some growth in places that I wanted growth, or I would notice like really subtle things. I swear every single day for that first year. And those are I looked at the victories more than I looked at anything else. And I think that's super important during the first year.
So much of transitioning is was just waiting on something. You know, waiting for things to happen in your body, waiting for things to happen in your brain, waiting for surgeries, waiting for name changes. Be patient, because what's waiting for you at the end is so worth everything that you felt, all the hurt that you felt, all the anguish that you felt, all the anxiety. It just makes everything so much better. I can't describe the feeling of waking up and getting to be me, this person that I've wanted to be my entire life, this person that I've known I was my entire life. It just makes everything so worth it.
I would go back and say, look, you're going to go through a lot of crap and it's going to be hard, but it's going to make you a better person to go through it, and you'll be fine. Just know you'll be fine. Like, that's the main point they want to make.
You have to be you. You can't hide who you are. You have to be you. And I know that it's going to be scary and you're going to get bullied a lot. So be you, but do it in a safe way. Like, don't ever put yourself in danger. But also, don't cower down because it's going to be hard. Because life is hard.
It is scary.
All right, everybody. Hello. God, my hair looks terrible. I was hoping I was hoping to be able to get prepared for the show instead of spending all the time like trying to fix tech issues. For those of you who are new to the show, welcome and thank you so much for coming. I know that there's a couple of you in chat that probably haven't seen the show before, at least not live. Oh my God, today has been, I can't say it's a nightmare, but like, for some reason, my OBS has reverted to a version a few months ago. So a lot of things that have been fixed or updated recently are just all out of whack. And so it's been challenging. And like I said, it sort of resulted in me not being able to run a brush through my hair and get it the way I would like, or some other things, some technical things that I didn't have a chance to talk to my guest about before we started. So it's been a little bit off today, and I really appreciate you hanging out and just chilling with us through all of this stuff. So without further ado and just yapping, I'm going to bring our guest back on. Sam, welcome back.
Hello, thank you.
Another thing, and it's been a while since I've done this, but I just felt like tonight was the night to have a glass of wine or a couple glasses of wine for the after the break section. Tonight we are drinking a gifted bottle that was from my assistant and her wife, Dove Hunt Dog, which is a Sauvignon Blanc from 2024, California Sauvignon Blanc. So cute, cute design on the label. I guess I have to hold it back here because the camera won't focus. But
That is cute.
yeah, it's very cool. Nice artwork. Yeah. If it was Duck Hunt Dog, we would have had a problem, but luckily it's just doves. I have an affinity for ducks because I'm weird, but ooh, that is splashy. That is bright and has a lot to it. Wow, that's fun. So yes, Emily recommends Dove Hunt Dog, 2024 Cabernet or Sauvignon Blanc, not Cabernet, Sauvignon Blanc. Oh, that's yum. That's gonna be fun. Thank you so much for that bottle of wine, y'all. They're in chat. So yes, ducks are awesome. Do not hunt them. Although I do have to say that I was a supporter of Ducks Unlimited, which is actually an organization that like is supported by hunters. But the thing is they preserve, they spend all their money and their time preserving duck habitat, you know, wetlands, and making sure that the ducks have places to be. In great part so that people can hunt them, but it's sort of this catch-22 because like, yes, I do like the idea of supporting the wetlands and duck habitat so that we have lots of ducks around. But yeah. So anyways, I got magazines with lots of beautiful photos, many of which I've drawn. I love ducks. I love drawing ducks. I'm digressing too much. Let's talk about our guest.
I was enjoying the ducks.
So there's a lot of neurodiversity, neurospiciness within our community. There's still, I don't know if they'll ever unpack why there are sort of correlations there, why there are comorbidities, to use sort of a dark term. In your journey, either before or after coming out, have you come to understand or learn about some sort of neurospicy things that you've got going on?
If you ask my wife, she feels like I have, and some of my coworkers that I used to have, I don't know if this is appropriate, but I'm going to say it. They say I have the touch of the tism.
Okay.
Sometimes about certain things. I've not been officially diagnosed with that, but I've been officially diagnosed by some friends and family. With just a touch of like little weird things that I do or don't do.
I am somewhat, I have a strong affinity. I won't say obsession. I have strong affinity for trains, ducks, Star Wars. Like there are my things, and there are people in my life that have been like, yeah, you have some autistic traits. Definitely self-diagnosed as having ADHD. And it's been good to look into that and sort of learn that and learn more about that and sort of accept those things, because I thought that maybe I had some OCD tendencies, and there is a ADHD results in some things that seem like OCD, and so that's been kind of interesting to find and learn about. So it's all a fun journey.
Yeah, no, for a while I thought I had ADHD. And then like I took a test with at some point, and they were like, no, you don't have that. But then they put me on something anyway, except whatever it was made me too focused. And it made me focus to the point where if somebody like interrupted me, I got super angry. So I was like, okay, no, I can't take this anymore. I'm just going to have to be like for my job, I need to be doing a couple of things at once anyway. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I'll just be doing it this way is fine.
Interesting.
Yeah. It just, I got super angry because I was like, don't interrupt me. And I was like, that's not who I am at all. So I was like, forget it. I won't take this anymore. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've really struggled with executive dysfunction, and my biggest struggle in life is a calendar. That is my biggest battleground.
Like putting anything on it or reading it or.
So I noticed that I brought it up in the trans peer group this weekend. I have periods. Sometimes I'm pretty good about writing everything in my calendar and putting, stuff that in a conversation, somebody's like, oh, we should meet up, blah, blah, blah. And I'll put it in my phone calendar. Other
Got it.
times I'm really bad about that. I'm like, oh, when I get home, I'll write it in. It slips my mind or whatever. I just don't do it. And I can be aware of the fact that in the moment I'm not doing a good job of writing everything down on my calendar. And yet I'll wake up in the morning and I'll look at the wall calendar and go, oh, I have a clear open day. Yay. What do I want to go do with my free day? And I will go do stuff and plan stuff. Like Saturday, I had a couple things planned that got written on the calendar or whatever, or just had in my mind. And so that was the day I went for a hike with my kids, and we had that great conversation. And I'm like, oh, we should go out to lunch. And so we're driving over to lunch, and I go, oh crap, I'm supposed to be on camera in a half hour. And it's a show I do every weekend. So the fact
Oh,
that
wow.
I forgot, it was just really bizarre. So when I say I struggle with a calendar,
Wow.
I'm
Yeah, that's a struggle.
dead serious. Yes.
That's okay. You were so excited to hang out with them that you just were like, who cares about commitments?
Yeah, absolutely. So, how long have you been working with employee resource groups? How long have you been part of, because you've been part of the LGBT community for quite some time. How long have you
Yes.
been actually active in groups and even taken sort of, some kind of leadership role?
So I've been active in groups for, I'm trying to remember when my last company got one. I don't think I was in person anymore. I think I was remote, probably since like 2014, 2013. I'm trying to think of, I don't remember when they had it, but since the beginning of like when my last company got an ERG, the Pride ERG, I was part of it. But I wasn't so much part of leadership, but I was like when I came out as trans at work when in 2017, I was asked to do a couple of little talks about like how it was to transition at work, how the company treated me, which was great. Not that my one boss wasn't, she wasn't awful, but she wasn't like great. So they allowed me to switch bosses. But yeah, so for a while, and then now that I'm at Amgen, I've been there for a little over a year, and I wasn't like part of leadership that much. And then I started getting more involved with trying to schedule things and do more things. So they made me like an events coordinator on the leadership team. So that's what I do now. I try to like plan stuff.
I love that. Yeah, it's been interesting to get into sort of like we were talking about before, that leadership role, and kind of try and figure that out and provide resources to folks. And I think it was, I don't remember if we really had employee resource groups before. I think we had something. We had like a main event planning committee, and after coming out, I joined in on those groups, and yeah, it was really fun to finally get to that point where I felt like I was out of my shell enough to partake in those and actually help steer it in ways that was LGBT inclusive, and just brought in that new perspective.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's definitely good to and I feel like it's important because there's not that many trans people in the world. I guess like the percentage is lower than the rest, so I think it's important in LGBTQ spaces to have like at least one trans or a couple of trans voices, and like make, if you're in a space where you're comfortable, like I'm comfortable at my job being out as trans to most people, like to bring that voice into the space. And maybe people didn't know you or knew you before and didn't know you were trans, and then all of a sudden you're out there and you're like, oh, wait a minute. Like that's my favorite, is to like get people to like me as a person and then tell them I'm trans, and then they're like, wait, that doesn't go with my upbringing, my church, my, like I had some people that used to report to me at my old job that are huge, like down south Trump people.
Mm-hmm.
But as their boss, I felt like it would be hiding if I didn't tell them I was trans. I told them all I was trans, and like one or two of those people are some of my biggest supporters. And I'm like, it doesn't make sense. But I'm like, as long as like they're respectful of me, they like hopefully I open their eyes so they're respectful to everyone. So like I can't get everybody on the same, like I can't get them to change who they're voting for, unfortunately. But at least they're being respectful to trans people because now they know one.
Mhm.
So like hopefully they're not being rude to people, and like I don't know. Obviously I'm not with them, but like hopefully by knowing a trans person, that's what I just try to get people like, now you know one, so be respectful. Like now you know better.
Well, and that's something that I've kind of had in mind, and we did sort of touch on that earlier. Of like, yeah, your parents, once you were there in person as a trans person, like they treated you differently than they would have if they had anonymity or that space, that distance,
Correct.
without
I didn't
really.
realize nothing had changed. Like I don't know what they thought happened, but I think once they saw me, they're like, oh.
Well,
But yeah,
you know, a lot of them are being fed a narrative that like it's some, you know, brain rot, it's some you know, virus that's taking over. It's brought on by some nefarious thing, and it's just like, no, once you see that we're just people, it's hard to be like, oh, this is coming from some really horrible negative place. It's like, no, this is just who we are, and we're just finally expressing it. And then they're
correct.
like, oh yeah, well, okay, I guess that makes sense.
Correct.
And
Correct.
so
Like once you hear it, they're like, oh, okay.
that
Yeah, we're
sort
not
of
like
sorry,
ill with any.
that sort of aligns with something that I really want to do going forward. I want to kind of figure out is like, how do we put trans people in front of groups of cis people? Like having the show is great, and you know, we reach people and we get all sorts of things in the comment section on our
Right.
YouTube videos, but you know, it's still sort of, there's still that wall between, there's, you know, the screen obviously, but there's still that bit of a wall. And it's not until you have someone in front of you that you can talk to and ask questions and just talk about the weather or whatever random stuff and just see that we're people. And so that's something I really want to I want to figure out, and I want to kind of work towards. You know, they're doing this big thing right now. It's annoyingly pervasive, but this one X and 20 Y, you know, the one atheist and 20 Christians, or you know,
Oh,
whatever it is, those videos they're just so all over, and it is conflict masked as discussion and debate, but it's just a lot of times that same like rhetoric and flawed ideals coming out. But it's like I like something like a spin-off of that actually works as
yeah.
a concept. So I'm still trying to parse together what that could be.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Maybe we're working on it together because we are in the same local area.
Okay. Yeah, I'll try to think of something too that might put that together.
So we had
Yeah, that
Kimmy
sounds
come in, and Kimmy has been it sounds like she is struggling with a lot of things we were talking about earlier, that self-worth, that belief that you belong in places and all of that, and has really appreciated in a lot of the things that you've said. I wanted to point out that Charlotte said when you were talking about like what it means to be a real man and kind of learning that, she said, show me a real man and I've got an Easter bunny to sell you, which I thought was a great line.
Oh, that is a great line. Oh, God.
Yeah, Kimmy had said, Samuel, you are awesome.
Thank you.
And some agreement with some things that you said, but that was a long time ago, so I don't know what specifically it was.
That's okay.
Drace asked, it was 2024 a good year? And I'm like, I guess apparently, because the glass is good. I'm enjoying it, but
is it a California wine?
What's that?
Is it a California wine?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
But it just
Is
says
that
California.
California?
It doesn't say where in California.
Wines.
Clean crafted commitment. I don't know. Maybe there's probably lots on the back about it. No, there's a little bit of a story, but not much. It's mostly just that beautiful artwork. What was I saying? So 2024 was a good year up until a point. As far as for grapes, I don't know. Do grapes follow a similar timeline as we do as trans?
They were good until like November-ish.
Yeah, right. Then everything just went sour.
Correct. Oh, God.
Oh, then there's a Star Wars discussion going on.
Ah,
Dre said a train doing the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs, flown by a duck. Just bringing all of
oh
my
my God. On
obsessions.
all of your things?
Yeah. Trains, ducks, and Star Wars.
I do love trains. I love a train.
You do? Ah.
Mm.
I just got to put out some fun clips. I'm way behind in my editing, and so I was editing an episode of Being Trans. That's the Saturday show from from February, when I went on an excursion to go to a train museum in Southern California, out in Paris, and it's massive. It's wonderful. There's all kinds of stuff there. You can just absolutely get lost for hours and hours. Had a great time, but my co-hosts, who were missing me, didn't understand the concept of being as excited as I was to go look at trains, and so we got some really fun clips out of that. But yeah, Stephen O. Oz says, I think I saw some attempt to reconcile the parsec nonsense in Star Wars, because of course parsec was used as a time in Star Wars, but it's actually a distance. Just like in Star Wars, they were traveling light speed, and later on it was hyperspeed or hyperspace. So they had to make some changes later on to kind of correct things that they got wrong with the science in the first one, and yet they made some really ham-handed attempt in the Lando movie to try and solve the parsec thing, and like I said, it just did a bad job. It was unnecessary, and it's very
That's
sad.
funny. It was the 70s. It was a different time when they were coming up with all the original science. It didn't exist yet.
Well, that's what's funny is, like, Star Wars has always been pure fantasy, and Star Trek is the one that has scientific basis, and, definitely uses science fiction, but there is still like a basis in some kind of possibility and all of that. So yeah, seeing them try to be scientific in Star Wars after having botched it is just funny to me. I love it.
Yeah, that is funny.
We got a question from Charlotte with a super chat. Sam, I have a friend considering testosterone. Any pitfalls from your experience that might help people at large?
Pitfalls. I didn't. I'm trying to think. I don't remember having any pitfalls. I mean, I know that some people can be prone to acne. So that could be one. I got it on my back instead of my face from it. So I got lucky, I guess.
Ooh,
I mean, I still
back
have
knee,
it, but it was-
fun.
Huh?
Oh, I said, ooh, back knee, fun.
Oh yeah, correct. It's always the best. And for a little while, this was embarrassing. I forget for how long, but you are going through, like, going on testosterone is putting you back through puberty. So for a while I had to switch deodorant because I started smelling awful. Like, I was just like, what is going on? So I had to switch to like Old Spice Stronger Swagger, because it was like my old deodorant was no longer working. And I was like, I went on that Facebook and I was like, okay, everybody, now that I'm a man, what deodorant does everybody use? So it was so funny, the answers I would get. And my voice started changing. So I went through like the 12, 13-year-old boy squeaky period.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I was like, this is an awkward age, like 41 years old, all of a sudden starting to squeak like a friggin' teenage boy. So I was like, so I have to be really conscious of, like, when I was on work calls, to try to not squawk. Like, like I'm sure teenage boys do. So I was just like, which voice am I picking for this call? And like, how am I going to stay in it?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. Like, so did you go low or did you go high? Like, that's got to be a
It
a
depended on the day,
decision.
like which one was working better for me. So I mean, I always try to go low, obviously. Michelle Obama would be not proud of me for going low, not high. But I was like, listen, Michelle, some of us have different priorities. So yes, I was going low all the time. But yeah, sometimes I still squawked. And like, luckily, sometimes I was in a safe space and the people would just start dying laughing. They're like, that's amazing. Are you really squeaking like a teenager? I was like, I am. That's what's going on. Just becoming a man, no big deal. I'm just going through my squeaky period.
Yeah.
So that's something. So some people might be alarmed by that. So these are like warnings, I guess, of things that could happen.
Yeah.
And you get really, if you were obviously assigned female at birth, and you're not really like into sex as much, that changes like pretty fast. Like all of a sudden, I was like, I'm horny all the time. Like, what am I supposed to do with this? Like, I was like that happened too. Like my voice squeaked, and then all of a sudden, I was like, I need sex. Like I was like, boys were always like, oh, I think about it like 10 minutes every 10 minutes. I was like, how is that possible? It's possible. Like once you have testosterone, you're like, holy God, how do you get anything done? Like all you're thinking about is like, what am I gonna do? Like it was ridiculous. So these are warnings, but they're not all bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, just in
it's
general.
Just an adjustment though. It's definitely an adjustment.
Yeah.
Like it does change you a little bit. And some people I've heard, and I think this is I don't want to say it's a myth, but some people say like, oh, people like giving the testosterone makes people really angry, and I've yet to experience that. Seeing other trans men and myself, like maybe that was already part of their personality, and they took testosterone and it made it worse. But like I did not get angrier or because you're coming into yourself, so taking testosterone would just make you more you. So I can't see how that would make you angry. It's not like you're taking like human growth hormone and you're like bulking up, and like steroids make people angry. I'm like, testosterone is not the same thing. So if like I heard that myth for a long time before I started taking it, I was a little nervous because I was like, well, sometimes I'm angry now because like I'm so mad at like not being myself that I would like my depression leads to anger, and I was like, I don't want to become angry. And then I like had to educate myself on the possibilities of that, and that's not really that's more of a myth that's I think is being told about testosterone. So if you're nervous about becoming more angry, that's not a thing that is true, unless it was a big part of your personality before.
So you're no concerns of hulking out or whatever.
Correct.
People.
Yeah. No, correct. I got stronger a little bit. Like I didn't lift weights or anything, but I'm a little bit stronger than I was. But and all that, if you have any weight, it literally all went to my gut. Like my legs are skinny, my arms are skinny. It's all like right here now. Like I just have like a beer belly. I have no butt. Like it just all moved. And your face gets a little bit more like I have had no facial reconstruction, and this used to be a little rounder, but it like straightened out here a little bit. So like there's minor facial changes that also happen.
I just love that it's such a true statement that like I don't know which puberty is worse, because when you go through your first one, you're among like terrible children. Like kids are
Correct.
the worst, and they're just
Correct.
gonna be awful and terrible. Like if you start to develop too early, if you develop too late, if whatever it is,
they're just bullies. All children are just bullies.
Yeah. But then, I mean, are adults that much better when you transition, when you go through puberty at 41? like
no, they're not. Not certain ones. Yeah.
So,
no, like, yeah.
I don't know, but it's just so
I can handle it a little more because I have like your skin's thicker at 41 than it is at 12.
True.
You're like, well, I've heard it before. Get over it. Like get it. Just depending on who you are, I guess.
Yeah.
Some people might not be, but I'm from New Jersey originally, so you have to like take it, or it's tough crowd over there. So yeah.
Yeah, you've seen more. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, but yeah, it's just still the surprise of experiencing puberty again and going, oh yeah, I'd forgotten how terrible this was.
Dude, it was terrible. It was terrible. And I can't. I mean, I think it was. Honestly, this one was better because I would like force. Like I wanted it. I didn't realize all that I was going to go through, but it was definitely better than the original one that I did not ever want. So yeah. Well, but the squawky voice I was not expecting. I just was not expecting. And the smelling, like you just don't think about it because you never did it. Like you never went in that direction.
No.
Growing up, so I was like, oh, yeah, this is a thing they do.
You mentioned the myth of becoming angrier and more aggressive. Was there any tumultuous aspects to your emotions during this as you moved through that?
I don't think so. I just was yeah, I was in a good space. I had support mostly. Um uh and I'm trying to think if I didn't get it was just weird, but I don't think it was tumultuous. I just think I was happy that it was happening. And like my voice was getting deeper, so that was made me happy. Um the extra body hair was not like I got like some people just get like nice amounts of body hair as men. Like I just got body hair everywhere, like my back, my stomach, like everything. I'm like, oh, what happened? Why? Like you find out like your genetics. You're like, oh, this is what I'm doing. Um, so yeah, I just have hair everywhere now. I was like, this is a lot. Like even on my like fingers. So like that was kind of like a new kind of almost like not body dysmorphia, but you're like, oh God, like I was used to having no hair. Like I wanted a little, but Jesus, this is like a lot. Like so. And then I would like more on my face, not on my hand, but like and more on my head. But you don't get to choose these things. These are all genetic. So yeah. So if you take that's another thing to the testosterone did this.
Mm-hmm.
So don't fall like I loved my hair and I loved styling it, like as short hairstyles that I had, and then I went bald, and then I was like, well, and I always decided like if I ever went bald, I'd just shave my whole head
Mm-hmm.
because like I didn't want to do like the little dome thing that my dad did his whole life. I was like, no, just go all in. So I just shave my whole head now. But yeah, the balding is a thing that can happen. So beware.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot. Well, because the thing is it's not. I don't want to get too turfy on this with the terms, but
Oh,
it's hard to maintain like a natural hormone thing because of the cycles and the way our bodies produce those, and we're very far from being able to. I mean, there is the possibility in the future of being able to change the gonads to produce estrogen instead of testosterone and vice versa. But I mean, that possibility exists, but they're not quite there yet. And so we're left with this thing of like, we have to take these pills, and the pills are just sort of, or gels or injections. And the hormones mimic and they work the same way in the body, but as far as the actual production and the levels and the consistency and all that, it is different. And so yeah, I've seen a lot of folks that take testosterone will lose their hair, and I the way we're conditioned, for females, like the hair is so crucial to the identity. And it's got to be long hair, or otherwise you catch shit from tons of people and all of that. So was that something that as that started to happen, as you realized that was a real possibility, was that a struggle for you? Did that present sort of a blocker for you in any way?
Going bald, you mean?
Yeah.
It was upsetting. Like I was hoping that it wouldn't happen. And like you were saying with the hormones, I have to get my levels checked every year because like estrogen is stored in fat cells a lot, and I'm overweight. So I have to keep like like I was still assigned female at birth, so I still have estrogen in my body, and that has like the levels didn't go down because I'm trans. Like they have to, the testosterone went up and it like blocks the estrogen a little. Like it's a whole, I don't know what it is because I'm not into the science, but I get tested and my testosterone level just has to be a certain amount of to outdo my estrogen.
Yeah.
Like to beat it. So yeah, but yeah, I was kind of upset, but then I embraced not having hair. So and I wear hats. I actually used to wear hats more often when I had hair because I didn't always feel like doing it, and now I wear hats less often because I don't have anything to do. So yeah, it's interesting.
Well, and the cool thing I would have to say, I mean, I know it's disappointing to lose your hair. Like that was something when I was presenting masculine that was always a fear, that was always a concern. I actually made a pact with God at some point when I was in my early teens that I could go gray, Steve Martin style, whenever you want. Like immediately, I can go gray whenever you want, as long as I get to keep it.
Yeah, I would have made that pact. I should have made that pact. That's where I went wrong.
Well, and yeah, it's just such a tough thing. But the good thing for someone who's trans masculine if you do lose your hair through the process, like there
Oh.
are sort of few things that are more visually masculine than that. Like that is
Correct.
that, you know, it is such
Right,
a
you're automatically passing if you're bald, pretty much.
yeah.
Most, unless you're really feminine somewhere else. But yeah, it's pretty much. And I have this little facial hair down here that I keep. But yeah, this doesn't grow. I mean, it grows a little bit, but my wife was like, "Can you please shave your face? You look like a teenage boy that can't grow a beard." I was like, "I'm just keeping it a little bit longer."
Yeah, I know so many trans men that are disappointed in the patchiness of the beard that grows for them, and I've
But I
known
see,
cis men that it's a problem too. So
yes, these men have that problem too. I remember Steph Curry. I watch a lot of basketball, and he had a patch here until not that long ago that would not grow, so he couldn't grow a beard. And then he was like, "Oh my god!" The patch all of a sudden grew in his 30s, and he was like, "Now he hasn't had a beard ever since because that little patch finally worked itself out in his 30s." So I was like, "Look, he goes through it too." So I felt better, like a really masculine basketball player was like, "I have a patchy beard," and I was like, "Same.
mm-hmm.
I'm an NBA player now." We're
Yeah,
the
you
same thing.
yeah missed your calling. Maybe there's still time. I don't know.
Yeah, no, 5'4". There's no calling.
Yeah, are there a lot of over 40 5'4" people in the NBA? I don't know.
I don't think there's any.
I don't think that's
Not a
a
one.
big demographic there. So yeah,
Correct. Niche. Very niche.
very niche indeed. Yeah, Charlotte says, "I'm so glad that my levels are tested for free, free national health care. I can keep a great
Oh, nice.
balance and adjust as needed." That's awesome. Yeah, you were
That
talking
is
about
awesome.
yours is tested once a year. That seems very infrequent to me.
Oh, yeah, I only go to see my endocrinologist twice a year.
Okay.
But maybe, I don't know. Yeah, only once a year. I think she tests it.
What is your specific experience with the HRT, and what is the method that you use? Do you use pills, gels, or injection?
Shot. I use a needle. I think it's the most, well, I don't know if it's the most common, but it's one of the most common, I think. So I get a vial, like a 1 milliliter vial, and I take half a milliliter once a week in my stomach, and I just stab myself. It's sub-Q now. I used to do it intramuscular because that was the better way to do it. And just not a couple of years ago, I think they decided sub-Q gave the same results as intramuscular. Thank God, because I would always hit not an artery, but something, and I would take the needle out and just blood would spurt. Excuse me. I hope nobody just passed it. But yeah, but yeah, now it's sub-Q, so it's a lot less painful. But yes, I still have to do that weekly for the rest of my life. Take the one shot. Do you all have to do things daily?
Yeah, so I'm on pills currently. I've done when I was in Australia, I did gels, and that was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I didn't have a lot of good results. Didn't have a lot of good experience with the patch because the patch is supposed to stay on a certain amount of time, and it was a struggle to it's really difficult to shower because the water gets under and it doesn't want to stick to you anymore, and it's like, I don't even know if this has any hormones in it anymore because is it all washed out? And you're supposed to keep it on for days. So I was just like, this doesn't seem to be a good method. The gel like dries in 10 or 15 minutes, and it's like, this is the way. Because I guess the pills for us, the estrogen pills are actually problematic and can cause blood clotting issues.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
And yeah, I did injections briefly, but they were significantly more expensive. And I only had about a month or two, so it wasn't enough time for me to kind of see a significant difference to be like, oh yeah, this is worth the 6 times the expense or whatever it was.
Oh my goodness, that's too much. Yeah, I would have been like, I could be patient.
Yeah. Yeah. Patience is the word of the day for being transgender. That's the one that that's the main thing you got to be able to do is be patient, because it can be a very slow process in a lot of ways. We got a question from Derace, and I would offer this to you as well. If this is too personal, you don't want to answer it, we can skip it, but I don't think it should be. they ask, do trans men take things like finasteride or dutasteride and minoxidil to combat hair loss and improve beard growth? Is that something that you've heard of? Is that something that's been offered for you as a potential
So
option?
yes, so Rogaine I think is one of those things.
Okay.
And I used it on my head for like first of all I started it too late. Like I was already like losing a lot of my hair, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll try this. And I think it kept some of it for a little while. But then I just gave up on it. Like I decided to just embrace the bulb because it ended up getting so patchy up here that I was just like, this is dumb. Like, why am I growing it? And then I grew my hair out a little bit to see what it had done. And it was so thin on top that it was just like wispy wisps of, and this was all like thicker. And I was like, this looks weird. So I just stopped doing it. I have heard of people putting stuff on their face to do that, to make their beard grow more. And I've thought about doing it, but I haven't done it. But have thought about it. And I know people do it. I know other trans masked men do it.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything specifically about that, and heard if it's a very successful.
I don't know if it's successful or not, but
I've heard, and then again, I think it's because the testosterone is just so strong, and it's doing so many things, and maybe your body isn't used to it, or so it's having more dramatic effects. I'm not sure, but I have heard on the other side for trans women that had thinning hair and were going bald previously, do have luck with those sorts of things because of the way that estrogen works and sort of allows that to kick in. So not the question you were asking, Drace, but I have heard of people having luck in going the other direction. So there's so much about the transgender experience. We talked about a lot about patience. There is a lot of self-acceptance that you have to find and learn, where you're just like, okay, my body is not gonna do the ideal. My body is not going to become exactly what I want it to be. It's just going to be what it is. And it's going to take its damn sweet time to get there in some ways. And just remembering where you came from and comparing yourself to where you came from versus trying to hold yourself to like the ideal that you have in your mind of what you want to be or quote unquote should be, is absolutely the way to go, because you have no control of it, and it takes a long time. And the quicker you can get to a place of just being like, okay, this is what my body is going to do with this, but I don't have to pretend to be the wrong gender anymore. That's where the joy comes from. That's where the benefits of being trans come from. And the rest is sort of like icing on the cake, and you take it for what it is, and you can be excited about it, but it's really hard when you have expectations and set expectations and look forward to things that may or may not ever happen.
Correct.
So
that is definitely a good advice.
Yeah.
I mean, I have no idea what would happen. And like luckily I didn't have expectations. I was just happy to be out as trans. Like I was just like, I don't care, like I'm trans. I still looked the same on like April 4th when I came out as I did on April 5th, but I was like, I'm a man now. Like I hadn't done anything, I hadn't started taking anything, but like just in my brain, coming out made me happier. Like even just to myself. So yeah, just live in your joy that you are in the middle of metamorphosis. Is that the right word? Is that what monarchs do? Butterflies?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sorry, somebody in chat on Twitch put PLUR, and so when people put acronyms in, it's gonna be tough to.
Sure, I don't know what it is.
To know, are we getting trolled or whatever? And it stands for peace, love, unity, and respect. Apparently, it's sort of an old kind of hippie thing, and it's just like, this is very sweet. So thank you so much, Bleeding Heart Kami. I don't know why I didn't read your username before. I know that you have been in the chat before, and you're a friend of ours. So yeah, it was just a moment where I'm just like, I wonder what that is. You know, it's so easy to be part of this community and see comments and things come in, and just like your hairs raise up, and you just like you get ready for the fight, and you're like, okay, what is this one? Here we go. We're, you know, getting the band hammer ready.
Mhm.
And have,
True.
so I mentioned before this sort of I think, did I mention it to you? I don't know. I was talking about it today, so forgive me, but that I think the nature of being a trans woman means being visible. Just, you know, because it is a long, slow process. It is hard for a lot of us to reach a place of being passable. And so visibility as a trans person is just kind of built into the experience. And part of the thing that you have to learn to accept, you get a lot of questions. You are the representative of all transness to a lot of people. I was the only trans person in my company of like 500 people when I came out.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, yeah, I used to work at JD Power, and I
Okay.
came out, you know, in 2014, I think it was, and so it was a new thing for them, and you know, I think that's just a part of the experience, just being that de facto token trans person, and
Correct.
you're the person that people can ask and all of that. I find on the other side, like a lot of trans mask folks are more stealth, are more reserved, and I think it's easier for a woman in our society to be a tomboy, to sort of dress in non-binary ways, and to dress more masculine, to have short hair. It is still looked down on generally, but
Correct.
it's more under I can't find the word. Like, it's not like fully accepted, but it's just sort of like something that people have seen before. It's familiar.
Yeah. That's a
So
good word.
I feel like it might be easier for trans men to kind of just take that and just move kind of slowly into that, and never get that kind of like out front poster child trans person.
Correct.
What I think from that might mean, and this is where a question is formulating, I'm trying to get to, does that mean it's very difficult for you to find support and to find community of people that have gone through your experience? And how has that journey been for you of trying to find examples and you know, commiseration of like, this is the experience, and did you experience this, or is this just me, because this is really weird?
It's true that in that aspect, it's very hard. I don't know many trans men. Like, I met one once. Like, these bracelets I have. I happened to go to like a artist that was making them at a street fair, and he happened to be a trans man. But I didn't know that. But I was like, I saw his transgender flag, so I just said, "Oh, I'm trans. Thank you for supporting whatever." And he was like, "Oh my god, me too." And we got in a little conversation. But obviously, you're not getting that deep into it. But like now, I like he follows me on Facebook, and I follow him on Insta. Like, so we have a little bit. Then my but yeah, it's definitely hard to find them. They're not like out and about, like saying, like most of them are passing. Every once in a while, I'm like, like I think maybe, but I like to hope that everyone's trans. Like, my wife is like, everyone's not gay or trans. I was like, yes, they are. Like, I'm like, that person's gay. She's like, no, they're not. I was like, yes, they are. Let me have my fantasies. But yeah, and then I know her hair, the person who does her hair is a trans man. So I've had brief conversations with him about things. But yeah, it's hard to find support with trans men because we're not everywhere. If they are somewhere, they're not announcing themselves. And most of them are trying to, even like, there's somebody at my company in our ERG, but he wants to be stealth at work. So like, you can't even, like, I can't even like bring it up with him like at work, because I don't, in case somebody's or like listening, or somebody's, you know what I mean? So I think a lot of trans men want to be stealth because they can. I don't want that, but I also, it's hard to find a space to just be like, I'm trans. Like, where do I put this in my bio at work? Like, do I just put it on my Teams message? Like, hey, I'm trans. Like, no, that's inappropriate probably. But yeah, I just want to like let people know, like, a trans, like that. I kind of want to be like almost like a, a trans person. So if you were against it, don't, because you know me, like, and you work with me and you like me, or you're
Yeah.
pretending really well. Like, that's why I want to be out, because I want to be like, you think I'm like, and some people might hate me because they think I'm a white cis male in this world. Like, I understand that as well. Like, they're like, this jackass. And I'm like, no, I'm not one of them. I'm not a jackass.
Not all men. Hashtag.
Right. I'm trans. I'm an other. I know I don't look like an other, and I know I present as not an other. I'm a privileged white male, but I'm also transgender, and I was a lesbian for a while, and I even dated boys in high school. Like, I've done it all. Talk to me. I have experience. Like, we could talk. Like, I just want to like announce it so people like, I don't know, but yeah, I haven't found a space to do. I mean, I guess I'm doing it now. If anybody watches this, they'll find out. But yeah,
Well,
I should find a better way to just like fit it into conversation smoothly.
yeah. Yeah, it's just so fascinating the way that works out, and how those experiences differ so greatly. Like, there's a lot of gatekeeping, there's a lot of negativity within the LGBT community,
Oh,
and a lot of these LGB folks have pulled off and say, like, oh, trans people are making it harder for all of us. um uh Non-binary folks, like, break brains, so that's the thing that is bad to be in the community, because they make it harder for all of us. And it's
true.
just so sad to see that sort of thing happen, and how difficult it is for the people that are experiencing these things because of that erasure and that infighting. It's like we're all part of this experience, and it's different for different people. But it's fascinating to see in the trans femme community,
Hmm.
the that forced visibility is a big part of it, and there then gets to be this negativity towards, a lot of times, towards the girls that get to the point of passing. They've had surgeries, they've been able to afford surgeries, hormones
Right.
have done great things for them because they were able to start early or whatever, and they decide that they want to go stealth. They want to just live as a woman, which is what all of our goals have been, to from the beginning, just to be ourselves and not have
Mhm.
it be a thing. Like, I don't want to be trans. I just want to be myself. I just want to be a woman and I want to fit in. The reason it's important to be trans visibly is to help the other people that don't know that it's possible, that struggle, that feel like they're alone, those sorts of
Right.
things. And I think a lot of people see that, and then they'll look at these trans women that finally make it to this place of passing, and they want to just sort of disappear and live their lives. And there's a lot of negativity towards them, and it's
Okay.
so funny, especially in context of what we were talking about, where it doesn't seem like that's part of the trans mask community at all.
No. Mm-mm. And not that I know of. No. Yeah. I'm not like fully in, but yeah, any trans math things that I followed or groups I'm in, like there's no like inner infighting. Like, everybody's kind of like almost like on their own. Like, there's no like, it's almost like cis men at this point. Like, there's no like cis men groups, like Facebook groups, or like they're like groups where they don't talk to each other, like don't share feelings, and like that's how the trans mass community feels to me. Like, it's just very like everyone's their lone. I don't want to say lone wolf, but like lone by themselves, and you're just like, I'm over here, being stealth. I'm over here being stealth. Like, unless they're famous, and then they're out because they have to be, because they're famous, and they had to announce it, like Elliot Page or Cher's son. I forgot his name all of a sudden. Chaz Bono. Like, those are the only like. But there's younger people, I'm sure, that because I'm old now, that I'm missing out on, that are trans, but they came out so young that like nobody really knew their female persona before they had to come out as a trans male. Or they were just became famous because, and they were already a trans male. So yeah, it's definitely not a thing. In the lesbian community, when I was part of that, it was a big thing. They would just say bad things about all trans people, and I was just like, this is gross. Like, not all of them,
Uh-huh.
but like it was big in that community,
Well,
and I hated it.
they say bad. I mean, the LNG of the
Oh,
community say really bad things about bisexual folks. that's bi erasure has been a thing for a very long time, and
Oh,
it's just
yeah.
like it's so sad to see. It's just like you have to pick a side, and if you don't go full in on it, then like you're faking or you're just non-committal or something. That's just like that's a
No.
really odd perspective and a strange hill to die on when you're discriminating against people in your own community that have very similar experiences to you. It's just like it's so weird.
It's true.
So weird.
It is weird. I agree.
Bleeding Heart Kami in the Twitch brought up a really fun point that I'd love to address and talk about. They're a cis male. I know it's not really comparison, but however, I took steroids for 10 years and lifted weights to be more masculine than I was. Like I understand, that part of the journey. I know it's not the same, but they're saying that they get it. They sort of understand some of that. And that's one of the fun things, or one of the funny things about all of this anti-trans hate, is they're banning gender affirming surgeries for trans people, but they're not banning them for cis people. Like, if you look at any of the numbers, they're banning gender affirming care for trans youth. And when they say gender affirming care, everybody thinks they mean surgeries, but it's not, because they don't do surgeries on trans youth. It's extremely, extremely rare that anybody under 18 gets any kind of surgery. Gender affirming care for youth is counseling, puberty blockers, maybe HRT if it's determined that is right. But a lot of times people wait until 18. That's the most common thing. But they don't ban 16-year-old girls from getting boob jobs.
Correct.
It's so gross.
It is.
Nose jobs, implants to make you look more masculine or whatever. Like, taking steroids to increase your masculine physique. All of these things are totally accepted gender affirming care for folks, and that's totally fine. It's totally looked at as fine. And then the second it's like has to do with aligning your gender with who you feel like to be inside, and it's just like, oh, it's so bizarre. It's such a bizarre.
And they're like, oh, you're changing what God gave you. I'm like, so are you. Like, what is the difference?
So,
I just don't know where their brain blocks.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, so you want to ban all surgery then?
Right.
Like, because you're going against God's will. Like, God gave you a heart attack, so.
Yeah. Right. Or God gave you an A cup. Like, why do you need a D cup? Why you're not pleased with? Like, it's the same thing. I just don't understand why how they can flip it, make it. It just doesn't make sense. I just need it to make sense.
So I cut it out of your bio to keep it shorter, and I'm sorry, I think I've kind of lost it. But at the end, you were talking in there about some of your hobbies and stuff. What are some of the things that you like to do outside of being trans? What are some of your big interests?
I love watching sports. To be honest, I love watching like football and baseball and fantasy football, and basketball. I don't do it anymore now that I moved to California, because we just haven't had time. But I like to camp. I haven't done that since we moved here. I like watching true crime. Love true crime. It's like a passion. I love murder and serial killers, things like that. What else? I don't do this as much as I like, but I do enjoy hiking when I do it. Because there's always some kind of wildlife around. Luckily I don't run into any snakes when I'm here. But yeah, we run into like rabbits and stuff. I'm trying to think of what else I do. I love doing stuff with the ERGs. Like we just did a coastal cleanup this weekend, so that was fun at the beach. I set up a food drive at work. So we're volunteering this Friday at the food bank. I got like some people from the ABIN, which is our Black ERG, and Pride ERG, to collaborate and donate food to the food bank in Thousand Oaks. So we're going to do that and clean that. And so I'm getting more into doing things like that, like helping other people. And I love going going to drag shows. I like to support the community and drag shows. There's a lot of, to be honest, and a lot of, so I shouldn't say a lot. Some of the people who are doing drag now are coming out as trans because I think the safe space for them to be a woman first is as in drag, and then some of them are like, oh, wait a minute, like now I'm in a safe community, and they are coming out as trans. That's happened a lot on RuPaul lately, as some of the people are trans. There was a trans man on RuPaul Got Mick. I love him to death. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I love art. Yeah. Oh, and also, I should bring this up. So, somebody I went to grade school and high school with, is starring in a movie. Like, it was just like a small film, and there's it's called Cinepride. It's the first LGBTQ plus film festival ever in LA. This coming up. I mean, there's all LGBTQ films, and it just this is the first year of it, and I gave some money to help promote the film after it was done. So I kind of want to start doing that more often too, but like donating money or like producing, helping. I don't have a lot of creativity, but I'd like to help others with creativity. Like I'd like to help lift their voices up, introduce them to people, give them, a little bit of money to start their journey on creating what they want to create. So that's something I'm just getting into, and I'm finding it really rewarding as well. So yeah.
Well, that's wonderful. We'll definitely talk about that off air. One of the things that I was, as you were going through your list and talking about, I'm kind of curious, being in a lesbian relationship, now having testosterone, being a little stronger, societal role bullshit, all of that sort of thing. Have you noticed your roles in your relationship shifting through this journey?
Honestly, no, because I've always kind of acted like a dude.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, yeah, that was your experience. That was who you were inside. So that makes perfect sense. Yeah.
correct. So like not too much. Like I've always been a partner. Like obviously not as much. Like it depends. Like when we moved here, like I did all the laundry and stuff because she worked. Like I worked from home and she was in the office. But now we're both work from home, so now she does laundry. But like gender role stuff, like I do she cooks and I do the dishes. Like it's mostly a partnership. But she does more of the stuff as a woman. So yeah. Just because you used to be a woman doesn't mean you appreciate them as much as you should.
Well, wow, I've totally lost track of time. We are at the hour. I think that's a pretty good place to stop. I wanted to give you a chance, though. We usually open it up if our guest has anything else to plug or anything else they want to talk about before we say goodbye.
I don't think so. I think I just plugged a couple of things. Follow me on Instagram, I guess. Samuel_Otten. That's where I post most of my things. So yeah, feel free to follow me. I'm a public Instagram, so I thought that was important too, just so in case something was important and people saw it, like I didn't care if people found out. So yeah, but no, nothing really. Just the Cinepride this weekend. If you're in the LA area.
Oh, that's this weekend. Okay, wow.
Yeah, it starts on September 11th. But I mean, yeah, they have an Instagram too, just so you can see. There's a lot of movies, but yeah, it's the first year, so it'll be hopefully be back next year.
Wonderful, and then
it's a good space for LGBTQ voices to be heard in movies. So
yeah, wonderful. All right. Oh wait, did we miss something from? Gotta go away. Let's see. Oh, Bleeding Heart Kami is also a teacher, and we were talking about that a little bit in chat, and it's just so wonderful that they do that. Give me your honest opinion on glam camping versus camping, please. I guess
better.
What's that?
Glam camping's better. Like camping, don't get a tent, and that's too hardcore. Like I either do like a trailer camping. I don't have one. I used to have a pop-up trailer, so that was fine, but I can't camp on the ground anymore. That's too much. So I'm a cabin life at this point.
I think it's just an age thing. At some point,
Correct.
past
your
your
back Can't do it anymore.
Once your 30s are gone, sleeping on the ground is gone. Like that's just not a
Done.
thing anymore.
Like you can't get up. You're never gonna fall asleep. You have it's no good. So glamping all the way. Hmm. Maybe just somewhere where you can light a fire in the middle of somewhere and then go back inside. It's fine.
Well, Samuel Otten, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story on the show. It's been wonderful to talk to you.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it, and it was great talking to you.
All right, y'all. That does it for the show tonight. We have creative block tomorrow at 3, which will be me doing some more drawing. Last week we designed a tattoo for my friend to cover up a scar that she's got. We've got this phoenix here, and tomorrow I will be taking that and putting it in the computer, digitizing it, and making it into an actual tattoo. So that's fun, just coming and hanging out with me, solo, playing a little music and hanging out. Then Saturday are our usual shows, Being Trans at noon Pacific. Oh, tomorrow's show is at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 Eastern. And then Saturday starts at noon with Being Trans, and then we take a little bit of a break and come back for Mediocre Poker. So yeah, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern is the start of all of that. Make sure you're there for Being Trans. It's a super fun show. And then we play some poker. And then on Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific, which is 2 Eastern, I always struggle with that changeover there, is Church of Voltec, where Amanda and Raina play Fallout 4, I think it is. Yeah, they play one of the Fallout games. They're doing a playthrough there. That seems to be very popular. People are really liking that show. So that's what we've got going on for the week. Thank you all so much for joining us. I don't have a guest lined up for next week yet, but if we, if I'm able to get one confirmed, then look on the YouTube or Twitch for that coming up in the schedule, and then join us same time next week, 6 Pacific. 9 Eastern. Love you all. Thank you so much for coming and joining us, and we will see you tomorrow. Oh, no, that's not the right. What advice do you have to pass on to young or closeted trans people?